day in Atlanta. I'm Nick Danger, and you're now tuned into the Art of MV. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for watching the video. Do me a favor, hit that like on the way in, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and leave it all in the comment section for me. Let's get cracking, man. I just got a little preface to today's video. It's MV Live on a Sunday drive, and I want to discuss, you're going to run into it for every one MV video you'll read or that you'll look at. You'll actually run into probably hundreds of MPC videos, way more than the MVs, right? And that makes you approach the YouTube University a little different. How do you, the art, if you looked at the title, the art of finding your own frequency as an MV user, kind of promotes, kind of walk a different path, so to speak, right? Now, the MV is full of all kinds of things. The processing power inside your MV1 Verse Lab or your MV 8000, 8800 is unparalleled when it comes to anything that is in the same category. This thing comes with mastering, processing, a whole group well thought out effects for post-production, for production, and for instrumentalists. If you're a guitarist, there's no need to have to go get a guitar pedal to go through because they're already in the box. If you like to phrase sample, there's an SP-ish kind of mode in there for you already, right? It's just a lot, and when you wind up, excuse me, basically having everything that you want coming out of the MV. That being said, I started looking more towards preserving my MV sound between the MV and the DAW. And it made me go and search for the type of things you search for inside your DAW for processing, right? When we get inside our DAW, what are we looking for? We're looking for the Waves plugins with channel strips, the UAD compressors and signal chains, the soft tube, EQs, and saturation plugins, all of which work great. But what if you could take care of some of that on the way in and it sound good and compressed and saturated already? Well, that's basically what I've done, and I'm gonna give you a picture, or give you there it is, a shot of my console, right? So this is what I'm looking at, and as you look in the back, the green lights that are jumping are from my pro channels going in. Now, instead of spending $2.99 on SoftTube plugin that's supposed to do this, what do? I go and get two actual pro channels, actual premium tubes, an actual what they call it, Vactral or optical compression, along with tube compression, parametric or semi-parametric 4-band EQ for cutting frequencies. Now, this is something I've been dealing with for the past couple of months, dialing it in before I start to really get to talk about it or make videos. I've been a little sparse, but that's because I've been dealing with this part, dealing with the sonicality of the output of my MV going into the. How do I get that without really going to somebody else, right? So let me give you an example. You want to buy sound packs and buy other people's drums, hey, have at it. But I just don't have the need to buy somebody else's drums. You can make your drums hit on the way into the MV, or on the way into your DAW, just as well as anybody else. Why buy pre-EQ drums when I can EQ them myself and then save my settings and have my own sound? To me, the best part of these channel strips is the cost. And you can't associate the quality with the price, because these things put a professional sound on your output signal, whether you like it or not. Okay, so when I say when you like it or not, I mean by you may not put it on everything. I'm going to put it on everything, but it's not like the Pultec or those really expensive compressors that they put on it. You know what I'm saying? This thing is very general. It's very transparent, but it's also very good. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go sit at the console and let's make some beats, man. And we are back. And this is the ART line right now that I'm using, since I can't really give you a visual of mine. Mine's not on here. This first one is the 259, which is one that preceded the one that I got. And then there is the number 2, the Pro Channel 2, which is actually the third Pro Channel strip. But it's the second one that is a 2-unit rack mount channel strip. Now, I want to say, first of all, that by no means am I suggesting these things are a golden elixir for your sound. I'm not insinuating that they're on the same level as the big boys that cost several $1,000s a pop. But I am telling you that when you have something that already pushes out a lot of character, like the MV 8000, 8800, you want to preserve that sound going into the DAW. Lots of times we wind up doing a lot of correcting or overcorrecting in the DAW, and we kind of lose the sound that we started with. And when you're recording into the DAW, it's about what touches the music. The guys I admire so much that when I watch a guy like John Makes Beats, put his link in the comment section for you guys to check him out, and Voltage Controller, those guys use the Octatrack with reckless abandon. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing, but the thing seems so small, and they're not banging out on it on 16 pads or rough housing keys. They're just hitting these weird little hieroglyphic looking buttons, and this nice sound is coming out of this box. But from what I understand, when I look behind, like say, my guy on John Makes Beats, let's call him Gabe. When I look behind Gabe, I see an SSL6 Fusion. An SSL Fusion. You know what I mean? I hear the Integra 7 because I know he uses the Integra 7. So I know the sounds are going through a process before it gets to me, and I admire that. But that's not my way. First of all, I can't afford an SSL Fusion at this point. But at the same time, I have the MV mindset. The minute I shut this thing on, I can tell exactly what it was doing. No matter how empty the track or how full the track is, how busy the track is, you can hear what's going on. So I guess I want to watch this video, but before I say this, before I put this guy on, because he kind of wraps up what I want to say, I'm going to put his link in the description as well as Maximus XXI, whatever Roman numeral that is. Why the fuck do people use Roman numerals? That guy kind of gets across the same point that I'm about to make, which is, well, let's check this out first.
I had an EQ for vocals and stuff like that, but it was just, you know what I'm saying, mostly that. And I went from tracking stuff out, you know what I'm saying, through the Chrome and the MPC-1, and just struggling to get things to sound like I want them to really sound, because I'm like, this shit should really be bigger than me tracking shit out in Reasons. So I'm like, okay, start to be like, I gotta take a step back.
Fair use.
Clean my playbook up, because
fair use.
I've always had a dream of being like, what if I could do this? What if I could have just the almighty, you know what I'm saying, analog setup in between, and have a separate computer with VSTs on them, and I can use that to make, you know what I'm saying, all the, you know what I'm saying, the stuff on whatever. But then I got this mojo in between to make the sound to the point to where I don't have to put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fucking plugins on each fucking sound to hype them up. I would only need to satisfy the sound for what it is, or what is really supposed to be satisfied for. It's 2 things that's on the mixer board. That's an equalizer and a compressor. If all your favorite songs All your
Facts.
favorite songs needed so much shit to sound so great. And when I say your favorite songs, I'm talking about from the 70s and 80s to 90s to the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that was made with some type of analog intervention because there was limited technology. All of that, if you really think about it, if you really dive into it, if they needed all of that to make every song be great, then every mixer board would have so much shit. They would have so many different fucking sections on them. But they know that that's secondary. You only use this outboard gear that's behind you when you maybe want to make a chain for vocals, or you maybe want to make a chain for drums.
Yeah, see.
You want to track guitar. But when you mixing and you on a mixer board and it's just there, if you reroute out, it's for just trying to clean something up.
Okay.
And you don't want to.
So I'm gonna stop right there because he kind of makes my point. Let's get back to Zen Beats, right? This is one of the tracks we're gonna work on in a minute. It's nice and empty, and when I give it some volume, I'm looking at you can hear what the pro channels are doing, and you can really dial it in. Like, check out the left side. You're gonna hear some boost, some low end boost. Let's put some shimmer on it. I chose a rack frequency to mess with, but you get the point. You can really dial this thing in. And see, I got it dialed in a certain way right now. It's not a hell of a bunch of low boost. I got a nice, really balanced low end that is present but not overbearing. And everything else is just exactly where I want it to be. Now, not long ago, I had it dialed in to put a little shimmer on the hi-hats. It's good at doing what it does, and it does it in a subtle way that's not noticeable unless you're really using your ears. Now, I say all that to say, instead of having to stack all those plugins on when I get in the box, I already got a great sound going in, so I can use the ones I like to use naturally. You know, a drummer compressor or a bus compressor, or something to give a little bit of space to it on the when you start turning it up. 'Cause the software, from my perspective, is just a huge recording machine and then an album sequencer. So I'm not looking to paint and to season the sound so much in there, as much as I'm trying to bring it up in volume and up in presence to match if it was to be played next to something else or to match other songs that I've done. And that is what the ARTs are doing for me right now for a very good price. Now, let me preface this saying I'm not saying these things are the equivalent of getting a Pultec or Manley or an SSL Fusion, but I'll tell you one thing. I would rather spend what I spent on adding a pro channel and having 2 console channels, basically, to go into the DAW. So basically, it goes into the MV and then into these 2 channels and then into the DAW. Now, sometimes I'll just 2-track out or track out a sub mix of the drums, then a sub mix of the keyboard parts or the rhythm section or the samples or whatever, and then have those 2 tracks separate, right? But in all, those 2 channels give me a very even and a very good representation that I don't have to do a lot of fixing on once it gets inside the DAW, right?